friends, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be a reading for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week of December 13 to the 19. Okay, so let's start. We're going to see, where is Virgo on the Fool's journey right now? Where is Virgo? The World. You're at the end of something here, Virgo. The World. Archangel Michael is here. A job well done, joy, contentment, and gratitude, the path toward enlightenment. Interesting. So the World, to me, is always a card where you've wrapped things up. You're finishing off a cycle and you're about to start a new one. So you could find yourself sort of feeling like you're in between two worlds where something has finished, you feel it, and yet you're maybe still sitting in it because the new path is still so fresh that it hasn't really revealed its first steps to you yet. So as Virgo is making their way through the closing of a chapter, which we saw a lot of that last week, let's see here. What is the archetype that they embody as they are going through this shift? The Student. This came up for Taurus. So as you are wrapping things up, Virgo, you are the student. You are learning so much about yourself right now, and it's up to you here. The messages say in the light attribute, humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. The shadow attribute says arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge, an unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. So it's an interesting time for you, Virgo, as to what will you do with this knowledge. Now that you have completed this cycle, as reflected by the World, you were the student now again of yourself. What will you do? Will you use this last cycle to help you sort of be open to doing things in the new cycle with that knowledge? Or will you sort of have this unwillingness to translate knowledge into action, as this archetype in the shadow suggests, that you sort of will say no, even though this last cycle has taught me certain lessons, I am going to move forward without that knowledge. That's a choice, right? It's a choice that we all have to make. So let's jump into the tarot cards to see what more we can understand here for Virgo, to see about this cycle that has wrapped up with the World card. You finished the Fool's journey in a sense. You've done one leg, right? The World is the last card in the journey, and now you're at the end of that journey. So it's a time to, before we begin again, to sort of be the student now and look at all of the data you've collected to see, now, what have you learned about yourself, right? Okay, so what is the present situation here for Virgo as they end a cycle and start a new one? The Queen of Cups. Now, the Queen of Cups is very emotional presence, very, very loving, compassionate, forgiving. And I always think when I see the Queen of Cups here that it's a time of tapping into our intuitive gifts and understanding that our emotions are a guide, or sort of like a signpost into ourselves, but they don't necessarily say the truth. They just tell us how the situation feels to us, right? And so I feel like this is a time where Virgo is developing a greater knowledge or a greater sense of how they feel about certain things that they may not have admitted to themselves just yet. This is a very interesting energy for Virgo to sit in. It's Cancer energy. So it's very much a time here, I feel, where it's the sort of beginning stages of really understanding the self on an emotional pathway. So you're really starting to see how your emotions aren't necessarily, just because something makes you feel a certain feeling, that feeling is not a fact, but it is a very, very good indication of something about yourself. It's almost like it's like a clue to tell you more information about the self, which is, I think, why you're getting the student card here as your archetype currently, because you're the student of yourself right now, Virgo, and you're trying to understand yourself with respect to this cycle that is closing out with the World card, leading you down a new path. And it's a very interesting time for you to consider, who am I as an emotional being, and what do my emotions reveal to me about myself? Right? I think that's the big question here. Interesting. So what is creating an obstacle for Virgo? Oh boy, as I say that, we see the Tower, the Page of Cups, and the Page of Swords. So what is creating this new path for you? You are forging a new path on an emotional and on a logic perspective here, okay? So your thoughts and beliefs are evolving with this Page of Swords, or else they're being given the opportunity to evolve. And the Page of Cups is giving you an opportunity to evolve on an emotional level. So there is something that is challenging your perspective and your emotions right now. Something is challenging your perspective and emotions, and you are going to see the truth behind it. Tower card. You're starting a new lens. You have the opportunity anyway, Virgo. It's up to you if you choose it. But I feel like the Tower is coming in to karmically sort of clear out any of the emotion or perceptions that you may have become overly attached to in the past cycle that you're just closing out here with this World card. And that as you go through that, you're going to start a new pathway on the emotion and sort of your mental discernment about things moving forward. I feel like not only are you sort of being challenged on that emotional level to see things in a new way and to understand how your emotions are not facts, but that they are signposts into yourself, to understand yourself more. I feel like that lesson is going to sort of get, the heat is going to get turned up, if you will, with that Tower card, because it's like Spirit is trying to guide you down a new emotional and a new mental pathway, saying to you, you've got to look at how you can transform on an emotional level, and how also with your perceptions, it almost might be time to sort of keep this close to the chest too. That's the other thing that this page makes me think, is that you're not really ready to share this with others yet, because it's so new. It's so new. It's like you're giving birth to a new set of emotions and a new set of beliefs. And I'm sort of almost feeling like the Tower energy is coming in to clear old beliefs and old emotions. It's almost like Virgo has the opportunity here to reinvent themselves on an emotional level and on a mental level, like how they see themselves, their perceptions, their beliefs about themselves and the world. But I feel like this is really about, what's interesting as I say that about yourself and the world, I was going to say I really think it's about yourself, but it's interesting because you got the World card, so it could be your perceptions about others, the world itself. I think you're changing. You have the opportunity to. You have the opportunity to be the student right now and to learn things in a new paradigm, to release an old paradigm and adopt a new paradigm. And as I say that, we see the Ten of Swords fall out. I feel like this old paradigm is over. This mental paradigm that you've been under, sort of living under, is over. It's time to now get up. And we see the Ten of Swords, which is my card for get up, get up, get up, get up. It didn't kill you. It's going to make you stronger. This is an opportunity to learn from the end of this cycle. Again, the World card represents the end of something and the beginning of something else. And also it's a positive thing. Like it's something to say, you know, you get a job well done. You get a gold star for getting through that last chapter. Now it's time to sort of understand, what did it all mean, and how can I move forward now that the Tower energy has cleared out maybe some people, maybe some experiences, maybe some opportunities that you thought were beneficial but are not, right? They're just going to keep you down. So it's interesting. This is time to get up from this here, Virgo, and it's going to hit you on the mental and the emotional most of all. Right? I feel like the ground beneath your feet with respect to your prosperity and your connection to your inspiration is intact so far. Let's keep going here for Virgo. We see the 10 of Pentacles as I say that. So maybe not. Maybe you're going to identify in a new way that you've reached sort of a very abundant and prosperous, sustainable situation, but perhaps that situation is no longer for you. It's interesting to see the 10 of Swords and the 10 of Pentacles. Just as I was saying that the ground beneath your feet is stable, perhaps that is going to shift as well, that you might find yourself, yeah, there's a lot of hidden mysteriousness around you. So you might find yourself developing a new sense of self with that 10 of Pentacles. You might be starting with an Ace of Pentacles. You know, you might be closing out this chapter here and starting something new that has yet to reveal itself. There's a lot of mystery around this. There could be some hidden energy that you haven't been able to sort of realize just yet. But that Tower here, I feel, balances out that Moon card a little bit, because it's like things have shifted, and they've shifted so much that it's almost like it's not recognizable. The new landscape for you, Virgo, it's so new. It's not recognizable, which is why we see that Page of Swords and Page of Cups and that 10 of Pentacles saying that, you know, whatever has previously defined your sense of content, security in the physical world, I feel is changing. And it's evolving. You're evolving. I think the student now, but I feel like you're going to be moving into a place. There's the 10 of Wands, like where you set down your burdens and start a new path. So there the messages I was just saying are stable. I don't think they are. I think they're stable in the sense that they're stable where they are, but they've got to move forward. You've got to move forward. You can't keep this up anymore on your own. I feel like things have shifted around you so much so that you're now left holding all of this on your own, and that's not sustainable. So when you see these 3 10s, man, you truly are at a place where the world resonates here. You are ending cycles here. You've got 3 10s on the table here, and then the King of Cups appears, which is interesting because you had the Queen of Cups appear at the beginning of your reading. So that says to me that as you start to understand yourself as an emotional being, you're also going to understand how to control those emotions so that you're not at the mercy of those emotions. And you might be right now. You might be picking up on so much of how the end of these 3 cycles is making you feel, that you think that's it. It's just all about feelings. But I think you're going to see that even if you feel like you're at the mercy of the way this feels right now, to see a change in your perception, where you're no longer going to be that individual laying in the snow. You're going to get up from that. You're no longer carrying all the wands by yourself. You're going to set down those burdens and have a new way of moving forward with your inspiration, and that you're not going to be sitting in that same comfort zone anymore. This comfort zone doesn't relate to you anymore. It's limiting you. It's interesting, Virgo. I feel like this cycle that you are coming to a close on, you don't know what it's going to look like yet. And that's okay, because you're creating it, and you're not creating it from a place that's overly emotional. I feel like you're going to gain some control over the way this feels. And that's why we see the King of Cups here, because right now it probably feels really something like everyone's gonna put a new word in there, a different word, and how it feels. But I don't think it feels terribly comfortable. I think that's the point, though. The point is to create enough discomfort here that you allow the shift to happen, and that you see the necessity of it, and that you're not overly emotional, that you balance out the emotions with the Queen and the King of Cups here being in balance. Now, what will be the outcome of this? The Moon is Pisces energy, so I wonder if there's a Pisces involved with this hidden aspect. is interesting here. What will be the outcome here? The King of Cups is Scorpio. We see the Eight of Wands. So that tells me that the outcome is going to be very much inspired by you and your imagination and your intuition and your spiritual initiation that is present within you. You're going to find a new way to do things. That's very much a green light here. This is a green light card, the Eight of Wands. It's Spirit saying, go for it, do it, don't hold back. What are you waiting for? Don't hesitate. Trust your instincts, trust your inspiration, and go for it. And I feel like that is coming. That is coming once the emotions are in balance. On the bottom of the deck, we see the Devil, which I think is trying to bring attention to the fact that, you know, you could be unwilling to transfer knowledge here and to understand how to translate knowledge into action, which is this card. So you might take the knowledge and just sort of sit in it and not use it to sort of see it and resent it in a way. It's interesting when I see this Devil card. You might see the inspiration that dwells within you and then not do anything with it, which is sort of that saboteur that can come up with that Devil card. There could be a Capricorn involved here as well with respect to the Devil energy here. But this really to me is a time where don't fall into patterns that are destructive. Go with the inspiration. Don't fall into destructive patterns. Go with the inspiration. Now, I'm going to keep those right here. Let's clarify some of this energy here. Why are we seeing the Devil? Why are we seeing the Devil come up here for Virgo? We have three cards, excuse me. So we see the Magician, the King of Wands, and the Queen of Pentacles. So you really could have a Capricorn involved here because the Queen of Pentacles and the Devil is Capricorn energy. Or it could just be speaking to you being a pioneer and you being a leader, sort of the aspects of a Capricorn. So when I see the King of Wands with the Magician and the Queen of Pentacles, to clarify the Devil, that says to me, you could take this in whatever way you want. You know what I mean? That Magician to me says you have the power to create whatever reality you want. So it's almost like the Magician lies as the choice point between the King of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles. Is that, will you sit in this space where you are sort of self-sufficient and motivated to create an enriched life for yourself through I'm feeling like sort of maintaining the balance that's in that 10. This Queen to me is responding to my question by saying, I'm going to hang on to what I have and I'm not going to do things any differently. I'm just going to keep enriching myself the way that I have been. And then the King of Wands is saying, no, I'm going to create movement, baby. I'm going to do things really differently. I'm going to make some choices and actions that do things differently. Whereas I think the Queen is going to foster the current way of doing things to keep the status quo by maintaining her self-sufficiency and pleasure and enrichment, the enrichment she provides herself. So I feel like this Magician is coming in to say, which reality are you going to create? Inner movement and change, or constancy and self-sufficiency? And I think that that's where the Devil is saying, which one are you going to pick? Because you can have either. You can create either. You can create the path that keeps things the same. So that says to me that you're sort of unwilling to translate knowledge into action. Whereas you can translate knowledge into action with that King of Wands. You can take the knowledge and turn it into something. And I think that's the direction you're being guided to when I see the Eight of Wands as the final outcome, is because moving in the direction that you've been walking so far, I think has reached its natural ending point with all of these 10s. You've reached the natural conclusion of that phase. And now you're sort of being pulled into some self-exploration to say to yourself, well, what has this all meant? You know, what has this all meant? And how can I bring my emotions into balance so that I can see where my inspiration will lead me if I let it? That's very interesting. I think I'm going to leave it at that for you, Virgo. Actually, not yet. I want to clarify that Tower card before we go. Let's clarify the Tower card here for Virgo. What is exactly going on here? Okay, we see the Emperor, the Ten of Cups. Wow, you got the last one. That's all four. That's all four. You got all of the tens. So that says everything is shifting. This Tower card is here because you're truly in between two worlds. You've come to the world. You've come to the end of a cycle on all of these aspects and elements, right? The emotional, the secure, grounded, physical, resource-based 3D world experience, the intuitive part of you, that fiery element of you, and the air sign element of you, which is very much in your thoughts, beliefs, perspectives, perceptions, judgments. You've come to the end of these, the four elements. You've come to the end of this cycle. And now it's up to you how you're going to move forward with it when we see the Emperor and the Knight of Cups. And I think the Knight of Cups is coming out here when I clarify the Tower and receive these cards to say, go with the emotions. You're going to need to start on the emotional level. Start by tackling the emotions. Be a leader when it comes to understanding the emotions first. Because I feel that's where you're going to have the most transformation. And that's why we got the Page of Cups, the King and the Queen of Cups. This is going to start emotional. Yeah, you're going to start on an emotional level. You could be dealing with an Aries with this Emperor, or the Emperor could be coming in to say to you, you're in charge. You're the leader. You decide. You decide how to change this emotional level. I feel like everything has happened with divine timing to get you to this place, and now it's up to you to decide what you're going to do. But you're truly at the end of all four of these. I am blown away that at first I thought, okay, well, we're seeing swords and wands, but then we see the pentacles and the cups all at 10. You're done. You're done. This cycle's over. Time to start a new cycle, and I feel like you're being guided to look at the emotions first. Wow. Okay, now I'm going to leave it at that. If this has resonated for you and you would like a personal reading, you can find my email and a description of all the readings I offer below. And also, thank you so much, as always, for liking, subscribing, and watching. And we will see you again very soon for another reading. Sending you lots of love and light, my friends. Have a great week.